Hi and welcome back to the channel, guys. We are continuing Avatar: The Last Airbender. This is book 1, chapter 18, and it is titled The Waterbending Master. So does that mean that Aang is finally gonna master waterbending, or at least learn it and get more into it and everything? Because that is the reason why they've been making their way towards the North Pole. And does it also mean that now we've made our way towards the North Pole? It only took like 18 episodes, but still, yeah, it'll be really interesting. But do you have anything you want to say before we start? Nope, alrighty. Then let's do it. And you can, of course, always check out our full-length reactions for Avatar and all the other shows that we're doing on our Patreon page. The link is down in the description below. And let's go. All right, chapter 18 down, only 2 more to go. Which, as far as I remember, the last 2, or as far as I know, the last 2 are going to be like 2 parts of a whole, if that makes sense. So it's going to be a 2-parter, pretty much. So yeah, getting ready for the season finale, and I'm pretty sure what we can expect of that. Then it's going to be Cao, Cao, whatever, however you want to pronounce that, laying siege to the North Pole, or the Northern Waterbending tribe. Yeesh. So we're gonna see another big battle in the next one, is what I'm counting on. But
yeah.
But in this one, they made their way to the North Pole, as we were speculating, and they did indeed start, or Aang, he did start started learning waterbending from a waterbending master. But then we also learned that this waterbending tribe, pretty much just as the southern tribe, is a bit more old-fashioned, and they're even more old-fashioned than the southern one, it seems. Or they used to be. I'm not quite sure if it was probably only the master guy there at the end who kind of changed his mind, and he decided to at least teach women waterbending as well.
Or at least just maybe only Katara.
Or maybe just Katara. There were some other kids there. I don't remember whether or not they were girls or if it was only boys. But yeah, either way, he changed his mind, thankfully, after we learned that he was actually engaged to Kana. Was that the name of Katara's grandmother, who ran away because it was an arranged marriage and she didn't love him, which is also the same case for the princess that Sokka is kind of in love with, or at least very smitten by. She's also promised to someone else, and she's actually engaged, and that makes me sad, at least, that seeing a culture like this where, and I know I should probably
be very
mindful, because I know there are cultures in our world as well that are still doing arranged marriages for a reason and everything. For us, it's just very weird.
And of course they can work.
They don't really have a choice in the matter, which is, that's all you want in life. It's just a choice to like pick your own destiny and your own lane and whatever. Like, you don't want to be forced to do something that you don't want to do. Like, none of us want to do that. Of course, sometimes we have to do stuff that we don't necessarily want to do or like, because we have responsibilities. That could be anything from work to just going to get-togethers with the family, even though you don't maybe like your family, I don't know. But there's always stuff that you have to do because it's your responsibility. But I definitely think in this case, it's just taking a very important choice away from someone, especially when it comes to like choosing who you're gonna spend the rest of your life with, or at least a long period of time with. And even though people who fall in love, it's not a guarantee at all that they're gonna stay together, but at least that was their choice to then give it a go. And no one forced them.
But we are very privileged, and we come from a place of privilege, so we could never be able to understand fully. It's just our experience.
Yeah, yeah.
Or like at least not our experience, but it's where we're coming from. So of course we can't speak on behalf of the people involved.
Yeah, it does seem like you're kind of limiting someone's freedom in a way, but then again, that's because we come from a culture where we very much where we are prioritizing individual freedom, like choosing pretty much whatever you want to do in life. It's your own choice. But then again, I'm sure there are many things in our country and in our system and our part of the world that will seem weird and foreign to other people and somewhere else in the world, like some of the stuff that we do. So this is just a case of a culture that is just so far removed from us that we can't really reconcile with it, or we can't identify with it. So yeah, but it's a difficult subject to get into, I think, because it is a real thing. And but if we're just talking about the show here, and what we saw and what we experienced, yeah, it's the rules of that culture, and I don't expect them to be like, oh yeah, we're wrong and we're going to change that. I think it's more of a way just to show us that these cultures do exist. And even though we might question it, we might think it's unfair if we come from another culture, but it's we also need to respect other people's cultures and societies and the way that they do things, even if we don't like to do it the same way. It's we're not like the ones to be like, or we shouldn't be the ones to tell them to like that it's wrong, at least. But besides all that complicated stuff, that was a cool city, at least. Like that, I did not expect it to look like that.
Nope.
The North Pole, like so much, like the huge wall and the city there, and so much infrastructure. And I mentioned it almost looked like an Arctic version of Venice, in the way that there were like the way the city was with these canals and the boats and everything. So I just thought it was real cool, and we got to see a lot of waterbending in this one as well. Where it's, and of course it makes sense that they're also, manipulating ice and like more solid structures. Of course they can do that as well, because ice is just water. So yeah.
If you're into that, they should also be able to, like, at least waterbend with the water molecules in the air, but that's not...
Yeah.
like
they could do some
steam.
real damage, because what are human beings made of? Like,
I don't think we need to
delve into that.
No,
I know, but like if they could manipulate the water like that in someone's body, they can essentially do some pretty nasty stuff to a human being if they wanted to.
If you've seen X-Men, one of the X-Men movies, where Magneto, he just pulls out all the iron molecules of the body, I think it would be a lot more gruesome version of that.
Yeah, I think you're right. That, but one thing they can do in this show is they can heal, which is a thing that they're definitely teaching the women to do, is to heal, and that is a very cool thing as well. And that probably has something to do with the amount of water in our bodies and how they can manipulate that, and yeah. And then on top of everything that went on in the North Pole with the waterbending tribe, we also got some stuff with Zuko and the pirates. They've returned, or they got, hired to do a job. It's not because they necessarily wanted to get revenge on them or anything.
No,
it's
like that. I think
just,
it's just and
money
use
talks.
them as expendables.
Yeah. And even though none of them died or anything like that, so but if they had, I'm sure Zhao he wouldn't have like cared one way or the other if anything happened to them, as long as they just completed their mission, which was to just kill off Zuko. But they didn't, and thankfully my guess that Iroh was just hiding something from Zhao. I really don't know how to pronounce it. Is it Zhao? Is it Zhao? Zhao? I hear different stuff in the episodes, I think. or is it like, because it is a set or a C, or once again that's also something like, do you say it's like that letter, is it a set, like a set, or do you say C, but that could also refer to the actual letter C? And someone told us at one point that we were mispronouncing Zuko's name, and we should be more like Zuko because it is a C. But then it should also be Zhao. But they are also saying Jiao, Chow sometimes. It sounds like that. So sorry, I don't want to say it wrong, but it seems like there are different ways that you can pronounce these names and stuff. Either way, that freaking guy, we don't like him, of course. But Iroh, he was able to at least hide the fact that Zuko was alive, and he's now on board. He's gonna follow them there to the North Pole, and then he's gonna try and capture the Avatar, or maybe something else happens, or probably something else will happen during those last 2 episodes. Maybe it's time for the thing that you've been chanting for a couple of times.
Redemption Act! Redemption Act! I think it's too early for that.
Yeah, it might be. It might be. But they did bring back the whole blue spirit thing in this one. And yeah, I'm fairly certain that Xiao
he knew.
He knew, yeah. He knew as soon as he saw those swords. And even though Zuko, he tried to cover it up, and he was like, no, they're just decorative, they're antiques, I don't know how to use them. He knew, and then he, of course, sent someone to kill him. But do you have anything else you want to
I just want to give a big shout out to my girl Katara, because she really stood up in this one, and she really, wanted to... I don't know if she wanted to change the very old-fashioned view on especially women and their role in society, or at least their society, wanted to change his opinion on it, and perhaps change all of their opinions.
Yeah, or at least just challenge it, and
exactly. And she really stood her ground, and she really, she fought for it.
Yeah, she did one hell, like that was a pretty cool fight.
Yeah, powerful waterbending.
Way more like powerful than I gave her credit for. Like she just very innovative and resourceful and quick. Yeah, she's let her fight, definitely.
I was a little bit weird. I feel a little bit weird about Aang's potential, or at least his abilities with waterbending, because we've seen it before that he so easily learned and mastered it, and now it seemed like he was a little bit not as good with it. Yeah. And then we saw Katara being absolutely and insanely powerful.
I think that maybe had something to do with like their motivation, or what was like in like their inner spirit, for lack of a better word, that when Aang, he was trying to do some waterbending in this one, or he was learning waterbending, he wasn't really into it because he was like, this is unfair, and he kind of went into it begrudgingly, and he doesn't really like the guy who's teaching him because of what happened with Katara. So I think that like he's not really there, he's not like physically and mentally ready to learn as much, whereas Katara, she was just like, she needed to show this guy something. She really had something to prove, and she just gave it her all. So I think that might be the difference between them, the two of them in this one at least. But unless you have anything else, nope. All right, then that's gonna do it for this reaction and review of Avatar: The Last Airbender, Book 1, Chapter 18, The Waterbending Master. We're getting so close to the season finale. It's crazy. Only 2 episodes left. It's gonna be a 2-parter, and we are counting on like getting them out kind of simultaneously, so that it will make sense and everything. But thank you guys so much for watching as always, and we will see you very soon. Bye.
Bye.